I was on 3 nationally televised sports trivia shows. The first one was 2 Minute Drill, which was hosted by Kenny Mayne. I lost in the first round, and I vowed that if I ever did something televised again, I will not lose. 4 years later, I became a contestant on Stump the Schwab. The Schwab was like 6-0 so far. Like of the second season, the first 6 episodes, he was 6-0. And I said, he'll be 6-1. It just came out. And it was a joke. I said it as a joke. Next thing you know, I won the show, and I was the first one to stump the Schwab that season. And to this day, the largest margin of victory over the Schwab. I beat him 11-4, and I still keep in touch with Howie Schwab to this day. He's a good friend of mine, and shout out to Howie Schwab, one of the great people around. My name is Nabaté. I'm a musician, trumpeter, composer, arranger, educator. I also produce for SiriusXM NBA Radio, as well as a sports talk show host, local show on Manhattan Cable called So Much to Talk About. I fell in love with sports in 1985, the New York Mets. I grew up around 20 minutes away from Shea Stadium, what used to be Shea Stadium, now Citi Field. But I grew up close, and 2 great athletes made me fall in love with sports. That was Dwight, Dr. K. Gooden, and Darryl Strawberry. Those 2 were pretty much the galvanizing forces behind the New York Mets and their ascension into eventually winning the world title the next season in 1986. But my father took me to my first baseball game actually in 1984. It was the Cardinals at the New York Mets, and that's what made me fall in love with the Mets and those athletes, and just their brash, confident nature was just what really made me appeal to what sports is all about. I'm a jazz musician, and the sport that I think that really represents jazz the most is football. When you think about it, because football, you have set plays, design plays. That's like the lead sheet, that's like the melody. The sequence of plays, when you run a drive, because a coach has to set up sequence of plays for his team to be, during a drive, 10-play sequence, 15-play sequence. That's like an arrangement. So you have the lead sheet, the composition, the melody, and then the arrangement. And then also another thing too, is that you have a lot of practice, rehearsal to be able to execute those plays. And then from the improvisational standpoint is that you have a certain player be able to improvise when they're able to, either if the play goes south, where the play doesn't really work, you have to make adjustments, a couple of players. Also, another thing is that when a running back is able to break out, get through the line of scrimmage and break out and be able to get a hole and then run straight down, he has to improvise on how he's going to get to the end zone, when he reaches the linebackers and the safeties, and the cornerbacks. So I think football is a lot like jazz from that standpoint, because it's forward momentum, you're moving forward. And as I mentioned, the plays is what sets up the identity, the offensive identity of a team. Wow, Lebron James going to the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm not surprised by it, because actually it's so funny. I always thought throughout the season, when I would see Rich Paul sitting next to Lakers owner Jeannie Buss, throughout the entire year, Rich Paul was at most of the Laker home games sitting next to Jeannie Buss. So kind of that was the foreshadowing for LeBron making that decision to go to Hollywood. But I think what LeBron is doing is based on tradition, the Laker tradition, but it's great for him and the trust in Magic Johnson that he has, because he doesn't have a legitimate all-star next to him. It's pretty much him with a bunch of young talent. But let me tell you, this young talent will be eager to grow and eager to be cultivated under LeBron, because LeBron knows how to make people around him better, and he knows how to give them that winning mentality. And when you have Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, those guys are ready to take the next step. But this Laker team is actually better than people think, even though they won't have a Kawhi Leonard. They most likely won't get Kawhi Leonard this year, or without a Paul George too. This team is still a team that is a force to be reckoned with for sure. They won't be Golden State, but they should win a round in the playoffs, and they should get back to the playoffs for the first time since 2013. Athletes speaking out about social issues and what's going on, the current events that's going on, and it's vital for that to happen, because we have a lot of young children looking up to our professional athletes. And our professional athletes, it's fine, they accomplish a lot, they're able to express themselves on the field, but it's important to be able to lend their voice and lend their criticism or their support for what's going on, you know? And that's important, because it's important for young people to see that you can express yourself. You're not just someone that throws a football or dribbles a basketball or pushes a puck up or swings a baseball bat or throws a pitch. So it's important for athletes to express themselves, especially with the social injustices that are going on in this country right now. The climate is very hostile. The climate is it's beyond disrespectful towards a lot of different races and genders. So it's important for athletes to be able to say that, because they're the ones that are, in some households, the most recognized and the most revered people out there, like in some households. So when kids see that, and when even parents, even when adults could feel encouraged to be able to express themselves, but when they see that, it's inspiring. And as you're a public figure as an athlete, and being that public figure, you have to show that you're not just about your craft, but you're about talking about and encouraging change, and being able to give to the community, and being able to show that at the end of the day, you're an American at the end of the day. And it's your right as an American to be able to express yourself and be able to inspire others to act on what's going on as well. So it's vital for our athletes to speak up on what's going on socially, because the climate is absolutely, it's disappointing, to say the least.